Right at the beginning I was watching Eddie's running marathons for Sport Relief, because Christy and I had very good health and we were enjoying life as you like, coming up to the DTR and being involved in the research. Why couldn't we do something for the Department of Twin Research? And a couple of weeks later, Christine hit on the idea of doing the Meridian Line walk in the UK. I thought that was a crazy idea, but I liked it. And from then on we started planning the whole thing, which took several months. Well, the first thing I did after deciding the Greenwich and Meridian Line was unique, was to ring Guinness World Records, and they said no, it had never been done. So that was a pretty good feeling, really. But Hazel said she went ahead with organising all the logistics of where we were going to stay, packed lunches and all the timings and dates, whilst I contacted all the media up the line, as it were, starting in East Sussex and through the counties of Kent, Surrey, Greater London, Greenwich, Mercury at Greenwich, and then Essex newspapers, Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Lincolnshire, and eventually South Yorkshire with the Hull Daily Mail. It's quite a challenge. It was very interesting getting all the logistics in place, all the people. The twins came forward that read about our story in the DTR newsletter, offered us accommodation up as far as Cambridge. And from that point on we drew a blank, so then it meant contacting B&Bs. The reason we think that was because the Greenwich Meridian Line is pretty remote from lots of places, and so we didn't think twins lived very near to it, and so for that reason they weren't able to help us. It made people interested, and the fact that we were publicising the DTR as well. Again, people had never heard of, and the flyers that we sent out now, there are hundreds of people out there now who are aware of what goes on at the Department of Twin Research at St Thomas's. So that's a real bonus, and people were really interested. And the fact that it's all to do with relating to ageing as well, all the problems that can be associated with it. One lady said to me, oh, thank goodness they're doing something for us elderly people out there, because research takes such a long time, but at least it's being addressed, all the problems associated with ageing. So that was a nice bonus, and we had loads of flyers, and we got rid of them all gradually along the line with people who asked us what was going on and could they read about it. And so it showed a lot of interest. An average of 10 miles a day. We said average because some were 8, 11, 12, 9. So it was an easy way to tell everyone that that was the average mileage, 10. But certainly in the hot weather, if it was less than 10, it was actually a godsend. Once you got over 10, you knew you were doing more than 10 because the weather started to get to us. The biggest challenge was crossing the Humber, but again from the publicity, the Humber Mouth Yacht Club came forward and organised the crossing for us, which was absolutely tremendous. So in the end we got to the end, but without the help of these wonderful people along the route, we could never have really done it. The highlight was Greenwich Meridian at Greenwich, so getting to that point, and of course completing the whole thing. had several funny little incidences where people were forgetting that we were picking us up as twins and going past us, to people seeing us being dropped off at the pickup point at one night at the pub, and then seeing us leave the next morning from our host who dropped us off there and thinking that we spent the whole night there, that sort of thing. And so that made it interesting, and the people and the history that we learnt along the line as well. That was very interesting. Going through these little villages in places that we would have never have gone through, or even, well, we hadn't even heard of before we started planning the whole route. So that was very interesting in itself. Because when we were arranging where to stay, some people that knew the area recommended us on to the next person, and then we contacted them, and they were all very, very willing straight away, because it was so unique and it's the first time it had ever been done, and of course twins were doing it and that had never been done before either.
When we got to Grimsby, Cleethorpes, just east of Grimsby where the Humber Mount Yacht Club was, the Grimsby Telegraph came out there, and as Hazel said, there was a lot of publicity for the yacht club as well, and that was a highlight, getting across the Humber and walking up Spurn Head into the next village. And having finally made the 285 miles, I mean, obviously at the end we were very emotional, and when we were told we were actually on the line at the end, we looked at each other, couldn't believe we were there, started to cry and hugged each other. And then we were waving and jumping up and down, and you know, we thought, we've done it, we've done it, we've done it. Couldn't sort of believe it. So the last day was horrendously wet, but throughout the month of May when we did it, it was tremendous weather. We were so, so lucky. And just that last day, we really didn't mind, because it was the last day, and then we could dry out overnight. Otherwise, we don't know what we would have done if it had been raining any time before that, because we wouldn't have been able to have got our things dried out. Everybody was so helpful. They even did our laundry in the places that we were staying more than one night. That was, again, very useful. People just couldn't do enough for us. They are just absolutely super and wonderful. We couldn't have done it without their help at all. Again, there were loads of people out there who were willing to help us. They all wanted to be involved because it was the first, and to the fact that they wanted to help us complete the journey, which was absolutely lovely. And without them all, we couldn't have done it.